What's going on, guys? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. So today I want to talk about how we could have found Tesla stock in 2014, right? And if that sounds pretty insane, no, I'm not about to sell you a course for $999.99, right? I'm just basically going to talk about the importance of reading and how if we read this book when it was first released in 2014, we could have found Tesla stock, right? So let me just start with you can't read every book, right? So obviously I'm trying to stress the importance of reading in this video, but obviously you can't read every book because Amazon started their business basically because books were the ones that had the most titles on the planet in any category, right? So basically you know that there's infinite amount of books, right? So I have a checklist for basically books that I read, right? And there's only 5 at the moment, but basically there's more that I can think of, but this basically covers most of the important points, right? So only read books that one come from people that have done it or people that you respect, right? So if someone hasn't done anything, let's say he writes a book about how to build a billion-dollar company, but he's not a billionaire, would you listen to that person? My guess is no. So number 2 is only read books that you're interested in, right? Things that you're interested in. So I could tell you to read about 0 to 1 or whatever, but if you're not interested, you probably get nothing from the book, right? And 3, I want to talk about books that have applicable information, right? Not books that talk to you about Harry Potter and all. Okay, Harry Potter is fun, but what I'm trying to say is if you're trying to improve, those books are not going to cut it, right? So number 4, read books that you have researched, right? Because as you can see over there on my bookshelf, I have a lot of books, right? But I have tried to research each and every one of these books, like a summary before I buy them, right? Because obviously books are not free, and also you want to only have things that you're interested in, right? Even through all this research, you can see at the bottom there, I'm not sure whether the camera captures it, that I have some books that I'm really not interested in because I didn't research properly, or because when I read it, it wasn't up to my expectations, right? And number 5, read books that don't put you to sleep, right? Because if you read books that put you to sleep, no matter how interesting the content, if the writer cannot write it in a way that doesn't put their audience to sleep, right? Basically, what will happen is, even though the content is very good, you cannot absorb the information, right? So with that 5 criteria being said and thought about, I want to just look at 0 to 1, right? So 0 to 1 was released on 16th of September in 2014, right? And you can see in Tesla stock was on the 16th of September, basically $55, right? And if you basically read that book and you decided that, oh, you know, Peter Thiel is pretty smart, I think I'm just gonna copy his ideas, right? Basically, you have made 17 times your money, right? And I don't know about you, but I think 17 times my money is pretty good, right? So yeah, that's totally up to you to decide, right? So let's just walk through basically what is in the books, just as some evidence that there was actually mentioned, and I'm not just talking some bullshit, right? So Tesla 747, this is basically in the book on page 166. So Tesla is one of the few clean tech companies started last decade to be thriving today. They wrote the social buzz of clean tech better than anyone, and they've gotten the 7 questions right. So their success is instructive. Tesla's technology is so good that other car companies rely on it. So at that time in 2014, I think it wasn't inherently so obvious as it is today, right? And obviously, looking back, maybe we have some hindsight bias because today Tesla is what it is, and in 2014, maybe Tesla was not as big of a company, definitely wasn't as big, and its moat was not as big, and its technology wasn't as developed, right? So Daimler uses Tesla's battery pack, Mercedes-Benz uses a Tesla powertrain, Toyota uses a Tesla motor, General Motors has even created a task force to track Tesla's next moves. But Tesla's greatest technological achievement isn't any part of or component, but rather its ability to integrate many components into one superior product. The Tesla Model S sedan, elegantly designed from end to end, is more than the sum of its parts, right? And basically, this is where we talk about synergy, right? Or all the parts being better than the sum of its parts, right? So Consumer Reports rated it higher than any other car ever reviewed. Both Motor Trend and Automobile magazines name it their 2013 car of the year, right? So timing, 2009, it was easy to think that the government would continue to support clean tech, Green jobs were a political priority. Federal funds were already earmarked, and Congress even seemed likely to pass cap and trade legislation. But where others saw general subsidies that could flow indefinitely, Tesla CEO Elon Musk rightly saw a one-time only opportunity in January 2010. And maybe this is easier for Peter Thiel to see, right? Because he's actually obviously friends with Elon Musk. So in January 2010, about a year and a half before Solyndra imploded under the Obama administration and politicized the subsidy question, Tesla secured $465 million loan from the US Department of Energy, right? So obviously, back then, Tesla did get some loans and all. It wasn't easy to build like an automobile company from your own savings, right? Even though Elon Musk did have a lot of money at that time, but the scale of automobile corporations are quite big, right? So if you think, just to go off track a bit, but if you look at some electric car companies that are starting nowadays, right, they are starting with 300-400 million market cap and maybe 100 million in cash, right? So I would stay away from those companies, right? Because I don't think these companies are going to make it, basically. And they might have to dilute shareholders or raise money or raise debt in some other ways, right? So a $500 million subsidy was unthinkable in the mid-2000s. It's unthinkable today. There was only one moment where that was possible, and Tesla played it perfectly. So monopoly. Tesla started with a tiny sub-market that could dominate the market for high-end electric sports cars. Since the first Roadster rolled off the production line in 2018, Tesla's only sold about 3,000 of them. But at $109,000 a piece, that's not trivial. Starting small allowed Tesla to undertake the necessary R&D to build a slightly less expensive Model S, and now Tesla owns the luxury electric sedan market too. So they sold more than 20,000 sedans in 2013, and now Tesla is in prime position to expand into broader markets in the future, right? So bear in mind that this was written in 2014, right? So there was no Model, I think there was no Model X, Model Y, all these basically newer models yet, right? So quite amazing that Peter Thiel can look that far forward, right? So team, Tesla CEO is the consummate engineer and salesman, so it's not surprising that he's assembled a team that's very good at both. Elon described his staff this way: if you're good at Tesla, you're choosing to be an equivalent of the special forces, right? So there's the regular army, and that's fine. But if you're working at Tesla, you're choosing to step up your game, right? So obviously Tesla holds their employees to a very high standard. So distribution, most companies underestimate distribution, but Tesla took it so seriously that it decided that to own the entire distribution chain. Other car companies are beholden to independent dealerships. Ford and Hyundai make cars, but they rely on other people to sell them. Tesla sells and services its vehicle in its own stores. The upfront costs of Tesla's approach are much higher than traditional dealership distribution, but it affords control over the customer experience, strengthens the Tesla brand, and saves the company money in the long term, right? So durability, Tesla has a head start and is moving faster than anyone, and that combination means that its lead is set to widen in the years ahead. A converted brand is the clearest sign, and this is a huge moat as well, right? A brand, right? Of Tesla's breakthrough. A car is one of the biggest purchasing decisions that people ever make, and consumers' trust in that category is hard to win. And unlike any other car company, at Tesla, the founder is still in charge, so it's not going to ease off anytime soon. Quick note on that: obviously Elon Musk is not the founder, right? There was two other guys, I don't remember their name, but Elon Musk basically was an early investor and not the founder, right? As people quite mistakenly believe, right? So secrets. Tesla knew that fashion drove the interest in clean tech. Rich people wanted to appear green, even if it meant driving a boxy Prius or clunky Honda inside. Basically what this paragraph is trying to say, that rich people wanted to look like they cared about the environment, even if the car was ugly, right? So those cars only made drivers look cool by their association with the famous eco-conscious movie stars that own them as well. So Tesla decided to build cars that make drivers look cool, period. Leonardo DiCaprio even ditched his Prius for an expensive looking Tesla Roadster. While generic clean tech companies struggled to differentiate themselves, Tesla built a unique brand around the secret, and clean tech was even more of a social phenomenon than an environmental imperative, right? So basically, why I read all those passages to you was this is basically Peter Thiel highlighting his investment thesis on Tesla, right? Sure, you needed to do some homework. You needed to go and look at Tesla. What is this company? What do they do? And how much is their financials? And are they close to going bankrupt? And within that time, from 2014 to 2000 and to now, yeah, Tesla did have a chance to go bankrupt, right? But obviously, you can see if you did hold on and you did invest, you would have done phenomenally well for yourself, right? Especially if you continue to buy here when it was down 30%, when it's down maybe 30, 40%, right? So I also want to talk about a story, right? And this is my personal experience, right? I actually first picked up this book in 2017, right? And due to the lack of attention in detail, right? And I don't know how I missed this because it's basically four pages that when I look back and I read it again last year, right? I realized I never even saw this in the first time that I read it, right? So maybe this is also a lesson to us. It's not only enough for you to just read the book, right? It's also very important for you to have the analytical skills to go and look through it, right? And this is basically as obvious as it gets, right? This is basically him throwing Peter Thiel throwing the kitchen sink at me, and basically I couldn't even see it, right? For some reason. So if I looked at Tesla stock at 2017, and basically, I just thought that I was stupid. Peter Thiel was very smart. I can buy Tesla stock in 2017. I would have made even more money than when he first released it, right? So basically, I would have made 20 times my money. So I'm not crying over it because at the time, my amount of capital that I have was also very little. And the amount of understanding when it comes to investing and all of these things were basically not there, right? I was just some kid reading about this book because I was quite interested. Who's this Peter Thiel guy? And I'm pretty sure my brother bought this book and he was interested in startups at that time because he was 20-something. So yeah, my point is when you read also after you go through all this, maybe you realize that you need to be early as well, right? Because if Peter Thiel released the book in 2014 and I only read it in 2017, those are 3 whole years that you could have been accumulating the stock, understanding the company, and also doing your research to strengthen your thesis and understand where are the holes. Is this Elon Musk guy like the real thing? Is he like some psychopath that, you know, tweets something that is against the SEC or something like that, right? So obviously we know that genius and crazy, there's a very fine line that separates it, right? So what's my conclusion? I'm not saying that reading one book will make you a millionaire or billionaire, right? So far from that, right? I think I've read many books before I even found this book and found basically one ticker that has become like this, right? And if you pay attention, a lot of the books do mention all these companies, but we probably just skim through it or we don't pay much attention to it, right? So that's also maybe something that I have to improve on, right? But what I'm trying to say is if you never read all these books and you never try to understand all these things, basically your chance of getting all these opportunities are zero, right? And you do know that we don't need many Tesla stocks to fund our retirement account, right? If you're basically looking to retire, if you put 50,000 into Tesla stock, you would have like 1 million, right? If you saw it at the same time as me, right? So that is, I think, more than enough if you want a normal retirement. And plus, it's only in the past, five years, right? And you have 1 million in the past 5 years, right? But yeah, that's about all I wanted to share today. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell button, and hopefully we find the next 100 bagger together.